Ladies and gentlemen, this is the ESE Fantasy Podcast Cannes Film Festival preview for 2026.
Woot, woot.
The 2027 movie cycle is here, y'all. We are locking in for that year's Oscars. I guess the Oscar ceremony for that year. That's gonna, everyone knows how that works. It's silly, but it is what it is. Otherwise, how would you actually take the time to consider movies from a year? Otherwise, if it was mid-year, it would be fucked. You know what I mean? Because then there'd be stuff that would come out later. You know what I mean? So, but we're here to talk about all the great films that are be debuting this year at the Cannes Film Festival, or getting. I'm sure there'll be movies that were shown at previous festivals that will also being shown at Cannes. That was a tough sentence to say.
Just won't be premiering. Yeah.
100%. That being said, though, we're going to obviously, go through and break down all this stuff. Charlie went through this time and made some really nice graphics for y'all to be able to watch on the visual version of this. So even if you listen to the audio version of this, you should put up the visual version, at least in the background, and see all the nice, beautiful graphics that Charlie spent a long time actually putting together for this. So reward the man for his hard work. He does work very hard for this podcast. So, I would appreciate y'all at least giving it a little look-see, You can find it on YouTube, and I think it's also be on Spotify as well, I would assume. Yep. So.
As of right now, Spotify is the only podcast platform we are able to upload video to.
So there you go.
Hopefully Apple one day, right?
That would be nice, yes. But we'll have to see how that turns out. But yeah, Charlie, just before we get into the preview here, what are your thoughts going into this? I'm pretty excited to talk about the stuff that's going to be going on. Cannes is always a big fucking curveball and everything all at once. It's going to be insane. So, what are you thinking going into this before we even start breaking stuff down?
The last 2 years, I feel like this is a trend going a few years back, but just for reference of our show, right? ESE Fantasy. Cannes has been so important for what we do. And it's the ultimate film festival. It's the dream one to go to one day, to go to France. It's the International Film Festival. It is the Palme d'Or, is the big award that you hear often about. Last year's winner, it was just an accident. The previous year, Honora, it's a big deal. And look, Ruben Östlund, the entertainment system is down. His movie wasn't ready in time for Cannes. He pulled it for next year. This is something we've actively been covering in our Oscar coverage of what a movie that probably going to be pretty good.
What Cannes can do for you as an independent film is so much. It's not to be underestimated at all. So when we talk about this, understand that when we talk about something having a potential to win the Palme d'Or and win another award at the Cannes Film Festival, it could be huge for that movie potentially.
Yeah. And Park Chan-wook is the jury president this year. I love that for him. And, he had the awesome movie last year of No Other Choice. So really cool for him to be the jury president this year with the competition.
I feel like that's going to be stiff competition with him on the jury.
Yeah, right? So
this guy probably has opinions,
And yeah, so the festival runs from May 12th to the 23rd. There's 22 films in competition. And there probably will be some added. So we will be putting this out May 1st. So whatever is out from this point on, right? If they add stuff, they add it, right? But this is what we're going off of right now is there's 22 films in competition. So yeah, Duke, how are you feeling? It's our 79th Cannes Film Fest. One American movie that we'll get into, literally one American movie. So this is going to be so cool. It's so many different things that we're learning, and big time players already for predictions before it even starts.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm hyped. I've been waiting for this one all year because, the other festivals, they have an impact. Sundance last year seemed to have more of an impact than it did this year, South by Southwest seems to be peaking up a little bit more, but that does happen from year to year from time to time. South by Southwest is much more a festival for other things, I think, than it is for movies. So that usually doesn't become as big of a deal, but something can get momentum from there. But Cannes where it all comes down to, right? Everything, there's going to be other stuff after this point, but Cannes is where things really start to look like a pretty clear picture for what's with stuff that is at Cannes. If it does well, will probably carry for a good amount of the rest of the year is a good way to put it, So look out for stuff that's at Cannes. It's good. It's gonna if something's at Cannes, it's probably gonna be worth your time this year. That's probably a pretty fair way to put it too,
Yeah. And I guess without any further ado, let's get into our first one. And I guess we can kind of bounce around with this, Duke, because it's gonna be all in front of us. So I'll take the lead here. And I figured we'll talk about the American movie first. Why not? And we'll talk about, it's directed by Ira Sachs, and it's The Man I Love. So this is an American musical fantasy. It stars Rami Malek as the main character, Jimmy George. And kind of what we know about it so far is it's set in the late 1980s. And look, it follows Jimmy George, who's an actor facing a life-threatening illness, takes on what may be his final major role. And the more we learn, it's set in the 1980s New York, in the AIDS crisis. Rebecca Hall is also in this, and she appeared in his Peter Hujar's Day. So, bringing her back. But yeah, Duke, I mean, Rami Malek, he's a world-class actor. He can disappear into anything. And I hear a fantasy American musical set in this time period with the AIDS crisis. I mean, this is going to be...
It's got a lot of potential to do some really interesting things, 100%. And obviously, like you say, with Rami, you always expect him to do pretty incredible performances and disappear into roles. So I think this could be one, like, this kind of reminds me of like Dallas Buyers Club, where because you take on that responsibility that I suspect when you take on a role like this, if it is AIDS, you know what I mean? That he's going to have, I would assume it's going to be AIDS, since they mentioned the AIDS epidemic and he gets a life-threatening illness. Would make sense, you know what I mean? That I feel like you feel a certain responsibility to, because of how things were handled with the AIDS epidemic, you know what I mean? By the fucking powers that be, that you want to take the responsibility to tell that story honestly. And Rami Malek seems like a really that kind of actor, you know what I mean? So I think this one will be a player. I don't know if it's going to win anything, but it's definitely going to be a player. It can. This thing's going to be interesting. It's the only American movie that gets in. That's a player, at least at the festival. You know what I mean? So
it's cool too. It's always, you always want to wonder how many different countries we can fit in, and for Ira Sachs to get one in, pretty cool stuff. So that is The Man I Love. And I mean, Duke, take it away here with this next one.
So I can. This is fun because this was not planned, but this was one that intrigued me a little bit when we were doing our top 10 breakdown of the Best Picture predictions for April. And there'll be a couple of things that come back like that in this because, and inexplicably, believe it or not, the Oscar movies that we have in the top for Best Picture happen to be some of them at Cannes, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so we have Fatherland here. So it's amidst the Cold War and we're in Germany, and we're going on a journey across Germany. Okay, so it actually does specify here, we are actually starting off in going from West Germany to East Germany. So, that's fucking Jesus, I misspoke there. That's fucking fascinating. Off rip, and it's very, very interesting stuff going on because the father character has won a Nobel Prize for writing, and they're going on this trip across Cold War Germany, and they're going to both places, and you just can imagine the potential that you could get into with everything that was happening in the Cold War, everything that was kind of I used misunderstood in the other video. What I will say is this, is I think there's been a lot of propaganda about the Cold War that has taken over as like popular history for it,
That's fair, yeah.
And I'm not saying that like, oh, you need to look into this and that. Like, I'm not. I'm just saying that I think a lot of what actually went down was not talked about in the public. So it's not been known that there was like a lot of, for how cold the Cold War is supposed to have been, there was a lot of war going on, And Germany was a place where there was a lot of, I think, espionage and fucking, propaganda and intervention from both sides trying to get the control of the region because of the potential war that was going to break out between Russia and the United States, or rather the USSR and the United States. And just seeing how that sort of double constriction from both sides sort of presses in. I mean, you can imagine how this would feel in a movie. We've seen movies like this where it almost feels like the society is being squished in between two other, superior forces with no real control. And there's this sort of like, I would assume some sort of kind of feeling of oppression going on. I mean, there's so much that you can play with here, and I just think it's going to be so interesting. And obviously we have Sandra Hüller in here, who is becoming one of our favorite actresses very quickly, I think.
Right?
Because she was in Project Hail Mary, and she's gonna be in Digger, and now she's gonna be in this. I mean, she's all over the top 10. She's all over fucking Cannes. This is gonna be fucking a crazy year for her. And obviously we have Hans Zischler playing Thomas Mann in this as well. I mean, I don't know, Charlie, what do you want to say about this? Because it's being directed by Paul Pawlowski. I think I fucking nailed it the second time. Polakowski. That's what
So
it is.
he's
Polakowski.
dipped his toes before in Cold War stuff. He won Best
and
Director
won for
in
best director
2018.
for it. So that's a
Yeah.
significant piece as well. That could obviously add to that, and doesn't even.
And we kind of touched on it. You know, Lucas Zoll as a cinematographer, and it looks like it's going to be in black and white. And I think we're going to get some fantastic cinema with this. I think it's going to be a really emotional story with this father and daughter portrayed by two world-class actors. And I fully expect this to be one of those movies that just kind of has your jaw on the floor a little bit, you know? And going from West to East Germany, I really think with this, I'm confident with this director and this cinematographer, it's going to feel like a journey, man. Like I have a lot of confidence in this movie. Sandra Hüller as, you know, what's going to be her big role this year, right? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be Digger? Is it going to be Project Hail Mary? She is world class, and it's really cool that she's going to get this big spotlight this year. Well earned for a great career.
Also, I mean, fascinating, really different character from what she's playing in Project Hail Mary, from what it seems like, you know, like, so it'll be really interesting to see how that sort of will play, you know. I'm really, really curious to see what this does.
And yeah, this is a big one. So
100%. Yeah. Fully expect this to be a big one coming out of it. It could win the Palme d'Or. Who knows?
This is definitely a Palme d'Or type winner here. So definitely one to keep an eye on. And up next is Christian Mungiu's Fjord. I mean, Renate Reinsve and Sebastian Stan. This is a Romanian drama. And Renate Reinsve, you know, she was featured heavily in Cannes last year with Sentimental Value. She won Best Actress at Cannes 2021 for The Worst Person in the World. And Christian Mungiu's, this is his first time having her and Sebastian Stan. And look, it's pretty simple, right? It's this Romanian Norwegian family's move to Norway is unsettled when their daughter arrives at school with unexplained bruises.
Hey, give me a pronunciation on that family name. I'll give you $10 if you can do it right now.
Yeah, right. Gorgiu. I don't know. I'm gonna go with that. Gorgiu.
Hey, it's better than I would have done. I would have gone like Georgi or something like that.
Yeah. And so she shows up at school with some unexplained bruises that trigger some tensions within their new community. And another of the film's favorite festival filmmakers, Mungiu, won the Palme d'Or in 2007 for his movie 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days, which was a fucking wild movie.
An absolutely visceral, insane movie. And based on the subject matter that is being described in this description, this movie is going to get real and raw really quick.
Yeah. And this is a director.
Mungiu does not pull punches at all. No.
And I fully expect this movie to either have us like, you know, hating or loving Renate Reinsve and Sebastian Stan, and I can't wait to see what they do.
I'm so curious which one of them is going to be the abuser. And either way, it's going to be visceral. It could be them both.
It could be, right? Like, look at this happy family photo.
Hey, what if that kid's giving us that look because he's about to kill fucking Sebastian Stan?
Yeah. Look, I mean, this picture is like the perfect, like almost amalgamation of what I think this movie could be. It could be the setup, right? It's a big, smiling, happy family. And that's what they want you to see, right? But beneath the surface, it's this, you know...
Yeah, Lake's all pretty until he starts to drown the fucking kid in it, you know what I mean?
I cannot wait to see this fucking movie.
You know what I'm saying? This could be insane. This is
going
to be hard for this probably not to be one of my favorite movies of the year, I suspect. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the vibe it feels like right now. I'm totally with you. And yeah, look, this seems like a big... This seems like a Palme d'Or winner. This seems like it might win the Grand Prix, right? Like, it's going to win one of these. I feel like Bearing, it's fucking terrible, of course, you know. But I just don't see it happening,
given the amount of hype around it at this point and the quality we saw from Mungiu previously.
So our three awards are the Palme d'Or, the Grand Prix, and the Jury Prize. Duke, I'm going to say this right now. I'm shocked if it doesn't win one of these three. I have so much confidence in this movie that it just... Like, I don't know, like, what if this is the picture, like, you know what I'm talking about when we say the picture on the fridge? Like, that's the surface image right there in the documentary, like, oh, you know, you thought it was a happy family. What a shot, man. And then you see the background here. This is going to be such a beautifully shot, beautifully made movie. And
what was the name of it? Was it 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days or whatever?
Yep.
Like, was that it was all kind of shot in very small buildings it was meant to be like a constricting feeling in the movie. And I can already tell by just this shot right here, we're going to have wide shots of this incredible landscape of this town. And in a movie like that, when you have this kind of visceral thing, what you're going to have to do is there's going to be moments where it does feel like it's going to feel like being in an abuse cycle where you're constantly like, where there's this beautiful stuff around you and there's this contrast. And then not that I've been in an abuse cycle, but what I've read about it. And then there'll be these moments where everything gets super tight and there'll be like really, really, whenever like someone, let's just imagine it's Sebastian, like going in and beating somebody up or something like that, right? And we're like really close in on his face and close in on the action. And it feels like it's this fucking suffocating feeling that we've felt in some movies before. And I feel like it has a lot of potential. It could be insane.
It absolutely could be insane. And yeah, dude. Well, we have one more big movie that is in our top 10 so far, and that is the Japanese drama directed by Ryusuke Hamaguchi, All of a Sudden. So we've kind of talked a little bit about this the past 2 months in our Best Picture nominations predictions, as this guy, he made Drive My Car. He won the Oscar for International Film with Drive My Car. And you know, this movie, it's you have it's his French debut. It's a Japanese movie, French language, like it's his debut movie in French. On the surface, that's fucking awesome when you start hearing stuff like that. And you get this woman who Virginia's gonna play, named Mary Lou, who she's the director of a nursing home, attempting to make some significant changes to their system of care, and her life ends up being transformed when she meets a terminally ill Japanese playwright, which is going to be played by Tao Akamoto. Duke, this guy is known for having these long, slow burn, just thought-provoking, beautiful movies that you kind of get lost in the atmosphere. And when I'm talking about that, and we see this image, they're sitting lakeside. You got the kind of the lights, you know, reflecting, not really lakeside. It's like a fucking, like a pond or a river. Like it's something, it's in the city and you got these lights in the background and they're clearly having some type of conversation. Tao almost looks like a little emotional in her face. And I'm just thinking like, this is what he does best. We're going to get lost in this world and this connection that these two make of two completely different people from different sides of the world. And he is going to make a truly beautiful movie here with All of a Sudden. And
I think there's going to be a lot of the basis of the character of Tao, that Tao's playing is going to be a vessel for the writer who's writing in this foreign language and writing in this foreign place to like illustrate, like kind of like, you know, because we always talk about like, you know, not necessarily insert characters, but every character that's written by a writer is always an interpretation of their personality in some way or another. Because I mean, you don't have, you know, you can invent new people, but they still have aspects of you within them because it came from you. You know what I mean? So if you're that kind of writer, anyway. That being said, I do think it's a really interesting idea of this. It's being written in a language that's obviously not the language that the writer usually writes in, but it's being done like that. And you can tell that it's in service to the type of story that they wanted to tell here because of there being a Japanese character in this, you know, community. And then they're going to be integrated into this and so on and so forth. So it feels like it kind of all resonates within itself kind of brilliantly in a way that when movies do that, they tend to do really extremely, you know, the movie that this springs to mind for me from the last couple of years is there's a couple of movies that we had that were from Europe that have really kind of dug into this concept. And the two that come to mind to me, I'll go to the more recent example, which is oh my Jesus Christ. Oh, I lost it already. It was the fucking Stellan Skarsgård movie. God damn it.
Sentimental Value. The
I don't know why I can't think of that fucking movie's name right now, bro. It's literally out of my brain. You know what I mean? Because it didn't do enough. It should have done better. But like, yeah, the Sentimental Value comes to mind because it was this sort of genre bending, sort of, not really genre bending, but genre like of it within it of its own self, where it was like about the act of making a film and that is personal to you and what that means and how much you should actually insert your own personal experience and how much should you involve people that you had these fucking bad relationships with in your life and stuff like that. And I feel like there's an opportunity with this movie to do something similar. The other movie that came to mind to me, and it's going to sound really weird at first, but it's Conclave. And how Conclave started as this kind of thing that's like, oh, it's just like a movie about the Pope and stuff like that. But really, it was more a movie about fucking people and how they interact in these fucking social systems that have been, you know, like it might seem to us like it's this fucking, from the outside, it might seem like this thing that's like, you know, they're all so professional and they all just know exactly their role. But there's everything has humanity with it, and that fucking human motivation that allows you to fucking sort of politic and switch around and change, even if there's a greater good that you're supposed to be servicing ultimately in the ultimate end goal of what you're doing. People are still people at the end of the day, and it morphs into this kind of completely different thing. And then you get that scene where Isabella Rossellini has her fucking moment, and it completely changes the entire tone of the movie, basically, because you know, like, so like there could be a moment in this movie where the humanitude is being introduced as like this concept, and it like completely breaks the mental of our main character or whoever our main, you know, perspective is in this movie, and the entire movie shifts from that point on.
Mary-Lou Fontaine. I mean, that sounds awesome.
So you know what I'm saying? And from that point on, who knows what happens? I mean, this movie has like eons of potential. That's kind of the whole thing with all these camp previews that we're doing right now, is the amount of potential that these things have is kind of, it's mind blowing, you know?
Yeah. And definitely one to look forward to big time. And, you know, let's start getting into some that even we're not the most familiar with, Duke. And this is Arthur Harari's The Unknown. He is the co-writer of the Palme d'Or winner of 2023, Anatomy of a Fall. So this is a psychological fantasy. I mean, come on, man. And this Léa Seydoux, who played the Bene Gesserit in Dune Part 2, she played a Bene Gesserit. Phenomenal actress. She's this French actress. She's just unreal. And this follows this reclusive photographer who becomes obsessed with a mysterious woman, only to wake up in her body the next day. What? Like, okay, that sounds fucking free. Hey,
yeah, it can be insane.
If you're gonna call yourself psychological fantasy, Duke, that fits the bill.
I mean, this could be weird. It could be awesome. I'm trying to think, like, you know, like the movie that springs to mind for me from this from last year is oh my god, the fucking movie where they were like fucking traveling between dimensions and shit. I can't think of what it's called. Jesus. And fucking chick has the fucking time machine thing. You know what I'm talking about? Jesus, it's from this year. It's not from last year. This reminds me of
Redux.
It kind of reminds me of the vibe of Redux a little bit, because you think, I mean, I didn't know what to think with Redux, and you start watching the movie and you instantly kind of get a energy similar to this. I feel like what's being described here. You know what I mean? So, but obviously this won't be like time, or not time, but like, you know, interdimensional travel or whatever you want to call it, or I guess like, you know, multiverse. There's like not going to be a multiverse involved, but that's the kind of like sci-fi, like psychological fantasy kind of vibes that we get into that and stuff like that. You know, it could be as out there as Redux, and I think that makes me immediately like obsessed with what it's going to be, even if I'm not going to end up watching it for a while. You know,
maybe a little like Freakier Friday in a sense of waking up in another body,
but much more serious of a tone. Than
I
obviously,
love
you know?
that type of concept, that like high fantasy concept like that of waking up in someone else's body. I'm a sucker for. Like, so obviously, I think we're going to have this woman wake up in Leah's body is my guess, based on, you know, just this reflection of her. What a shot, by the way. I mean,
I think how well this movie does will be determined by how long into the movie that happens. Like if it's like a long, you know, if we spend a lot of time with the main character in their original body and then we go to the other body, but because like waking up one day, to me, only to wake up in her body almost seems like, but the next day. So like, because it's the next day, who knows how long that first day is going to be in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, but I would suspect probably not long. It's probably going to be more of a, you know, about what she is once she's within this new body. What does that look like? You know?
Yeah. Is it going to be? Yeah. I'm pretty excited to see what she does with this, and just in general, like this is going to give Léa Seydoux a big chance to just go out and have. I think she's got another movie at this festival too, so like she is kind of all over the place. So good for her. And this is going to be one I'm pretty excited to see. Let's see her chops a little bit, you know. So Arthur Harari's The Unknown. So up next, we have a Spanish tragic comedy here called Bitter Christmas by Amarga Navidad. And so there was this is the filmmaker of The Room Next Door, and they got their Golden Lion winning. They directed Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore. And this is like an operatic melodrama is what I'm seeing it described as. It's the tale of a highly successful commercial director, Barbara Lenny, who plays Elsa, who is that is who the image they release is who Barbara is playing here, Elsa. And she throws herself into work to cope with the death of her mother. Over a long weekend in December, she jets off from Madrid to Lanzarote, and in a bid to overcome her writer's block, begins adapting the personal tragedies of her closest friends into sparkling prose.
Oh, God.
Expect some immaculate design, some gloriously saturated color palettes, some artful cinematography, just a very, generous sprinkling of auto fiction, if you will, right? This movie, Duke, never heard of it. The name, I'm like, okay, what do we get here? Oh my God. She is going to be going through it all in December. Duke, I don't know about you, but kind of reading into this a little bit, this seems fascinating. You could do something incredible with this premise. Like,
yeah, I agree, and I think it all depends on like how it's all like kind of packaged together, because like again, like you described that, and if it's all happening really quickly in the movie, and then like it's this like, all right, what is the consequences of her going through and taking all this? Is she going to see success as a result of that? Is that going to be the thing that brings her back in, and it's going to bring her back down emotionally, and it's going to be about this, defining that success again was never the thing that was actually the important thing, or is it actually not about any of that stuff, and it's just a fucking tragic movie where everything she tries to do to try and fix her life just continuously makes it worse? Who knows? Like, it's got a lot of really interesting moving parts to it too.
Absolutely, it does. So, I'm always open for some Spanish tragic comedies. All right,
and not a genre I don't think I've ever dipped into before, but interesting.
Yeah, right.
The French.
Yeah, so up next we have Parallel Tales. And so this is a name we're seeing pop up again here, Virginia Fira. So she is in All of a Sudden. She's also starring in this. And this is an Iranian filmmaker, Asghar Farhadi. And he obviously isn't able to make a film in his own country, as we talked about last year. So it made this. This is a French movie. Shout out France! I guess like doing this.
Yeah, I guess France just continuously being like, we will make sure the international film community has a place to make films, and we will push them forward if they are good enough as movies from our country, and that's totally fucking respectable. You know what I mean?
So there was a little misinformation out there about this movie. At first, people thought it was about the 2015 Paris terrorist attacks. It is not. It is kind of based off of Kieslowski's Decalogue 6, loosely. It follows Sylvie, who is played by Isabella Huppert, as a famous author seeking inspiration on the neighbors across the street, who hires mysterious Adam as an assistant, but he quickly turns her life upside down. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that love the Decalogue stuff. So I feel like it's pretty neat to kind of get that involved a little bit. And yeah, don't know too much about this. Don't know much about this filmmaker, but I think Duke is just worth mentioning. What happened last year with our Palme d'Or winner was an Iranian filmmaker who made a French movie, it was a French international movie that he made. And
so at the very least, that's something to keep an eye on. Obviously the French look into this. They obviously didn't do it last year flippantly. They picked somebody who they actually thought deserved to have the opportunity and would do something with it, and then obviously ended up winning the Palme d'Or. So it's like, this movie is definitely a contender based on that alone. That doesn't just mean it's going to be, because French movie with Iranian director. That doesn't mean shit. But it just means that it's something that they obviously reconsidered this year trying to do again, because if this does well, fully expect them to put their all behind this like they did with that movie. I mean, in terms of international, at least, I would not be surprised. So, yeah, I mean, it's It's an interesting. I don't know anything about the Decalogue stuff. I don't know what that is. But I mean, hey, it sounds like an interesting premise at the very least.
Yeah.
So,
So I'll toss it to you for this next one here to kind of break it down for us. And I believe we're back to some more South Korea.
everyone knows that I'm a big fan of the South Korean cinema that's been coming out and television for like the last like decade or so or something like that. Since and obviously post Parasite, it's a completely different world for South Korean cinema, right? You know what I mean? So, um, sorry about that. I needed to cough there for a second, but apparently didn't realize it. Anyway, yeah, so we have the movie Hope here. So this one, just being from South Korea and being in the conversation has me somewhat interested, just because, again, just being South Korean is not the reason. What I'm saying is the amount of good stuff that has been coming out of South Korea, like even movies that didn't end up making it into Best Picture consideration or Best Script nominations last year, I think could have been, like No Other Choice was phenomenal. There's other stuff from Korea, like K-pop Demon Hunters, that ended up making a lot of noise. Or I don't know if it was from Korea, but based in Korean culture and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Park Chan-wook
Yes.
is the
On
is the
the
main
panel. Does that mean anything for this movie? Who knows? You know what I mean?
Who knows? He is a South Korean filmmaker.
Does it hold? Does it make it harder for the movie because he knows South Korean cinema better than anybody else on that panel, right? So who knows? But you'd like to think he'd give it a boost just because helping the friends out or whatever. But who knows? Maybe they're fucking bitter rivals. Who knows? But I don't know that though. But yeah, and I'm just in the premise. It's based in a remote village, Hope Harbor. It's near nearly the heavily fertilized DMZ, which, if you know anything about the political situation around the DMZ and with North and South Korea, obviously that's going to be a pretty intense movie.
Yeah.
Just being around the DMZ is going to add a lot of intensity to it, and then you have this thing with the tiger going on. You know what I mean? It seems like, and you see the word chaos, and you're like, okay, this is going to be something pretty crazy because like we had a chaotic South Korean movie last year and No Other Choice, and it was kind of all over the place at points.
Dude.
But you know what I mean? Like
the cinematography in that, man. Oh my god, it was so.
Do we know anything about? I mean, is the cinematography in this being talked about? I mean, we don't know anything about it. But I'm saying, like, is that something we maybe talk about? I don't know. I mean, South Korean cinema has generally had really good cinematography in it, I would say. So but I that's something obviously potentially to look out for. I suppose it's another sci-fi South Korean thriller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's got it's similar reasons got our eyes right now. I really hope. Hey,
so the cinematographer,
one of my favorite movies this year.
Hung Kyung-po, he won Best Cinematography at the Asian Film Awards in 2025 for his movie Harbin.
Well, there you
and
go. So
he's been nominated. Oh, get this. Cinematography for Parasite.
Did he win for that?
He didn't win for that movie, but he was nominated for it at festivals.
Well, there you go. So at the very least, award-nominated, award-winning cinematographer who worked with the Best Picture winning Parasite.
So at the South Korean Film Fest, this guy's been nominated 7 times.
Which, for those of you that don't know, that I found that festival last year because I was like trying to figure out if No Other Choice was actually doing well in South Korea, or if it was just happened to be the movie that got pushed by the country in the category because of the name of the director that was attached to it or whatever, and I ended up finding out that I think it did well. It didn't do the best out of everything. There was some other movie from last year that did really well in South Korean film awards, but that's my gauge now. If something's doing well there, it's probably going to at least have a chance to get into at least Best International. You know what I mean? So yeah. And not to make the same joke again, but I do hope that this is one of my favorite movies at the end of the year because I
hope so too. Michael Fassbender, Taylor Russell, Alicia Vikander's in this.
This could be crazy.
I don't know where this is going to go.
No idea, but it sounds interesting for sure.
It sounds interesting, and sci-fi thriller is always going to have me.
What's the sci-fi here?
What is the more terrifying mystery, dude? I can't wait to see what the fuck they do. So yeah, keep an eye out. Again, South Korean film. It is a South Korean jury.
I'll go one. After my mic goes rogue, I'll go one step deeper on this. The DMZ is obviously a heavily fucking militarized area or whatever, like where there's lots of fucking bombs and shit pointed at it, right? This sci-fi like monster or whatever it turns out to be could be like the fucking physical manifestation of people's fear of what happens if the DMZ becomes a fucking war zone. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. All right. All right, that could be pretty good.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. All right. Up next, we have another Japanese film, and this is a Japanese science fiction drama called Sheep in the Box, and it is directed by Hirokazu Koreeda, is my guess. And look, he is a
oh my god,
world-renowned,
I just read the premise. Holy shit.
yeah, he is a world-renowned Japanese filmmaker. He won the Palme d'Or in 2018 with his movie Shoplifters. And this time, best way to put it, as someone wrote, he's staying on home turf. This movie's in Japan. And this tackles the ever urgent topic of artificial intelligence. When this couple, Haruka and Daigo, their characters, lose their young son, they replace him by a humanoid made in his image. And can this newcomer heal their broken hearts, or will he simply stand as a constant reminder of what is gone forever?
Dude, you could have scenes in this movie where you're walking around and they did little things in the son's performance to make you realize that there are other fucking humanoids walking around that are like adult sized, that maybe this happened at other points in people's lives. You know what I mean? There's so much you could do with that. And they could have the boy asking questions about whether he's real or not, whether he's actually alive. This could get deep.
And one of the questions we were posing last year was, we're having such a great year of international cinema on a more, making its way over to the Hollywood aspect, right? Every year is great for international cinema, but how many years does it break through into the Hollywood stuff, right? Is what is the way to put it. We were wondering last year, it felt like we were missing some Japanese movies. And when I'm reading these concepts, dude, this sounds fucking remarkable. This is gonna be fucked up.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a really emotional movie too. I think this is gonna be like dark, and I mean this could be fucking really, really unsettling. And it's it's an AI movie.
Yes,
it's an AI movie that I actually think is. I'm sick of AI being in everything. I'll be honest with you. Like it's yeah, I get it. It's all over the place right now, but like I'm over it because fucking making goddamn computer parts so expensive. Like get it out of my life. But but the. This is an AI movie I approve of, because this is not like, oh, AI is going to kill everyone. This is AI is going to ruin our lives because we become so reliant on it that we use it to try and replace irreplaceable things in our life. That's fucking insane.
Very well put. Up next, we have The Black Ball, another Spanish drama. And this one is...
Yo, is that Spanish Timmy on the fucking right?
It kind of looks like it, right? I messed up with the director there, but oh well.
Oh, that's Spanish Timmy on the left and the bottom too. Because it's just Timothy Chalamet's fucking boys.
Got Spanish Timmys all over the place. This is the director is Almodovar, and this is a movie that is set in 1932, 1937. In 2017, exploring the interconnected lives of three gay men. So there's a lot of different, performances in this. You have Javier Carvajal and Javier Ambrosi kind of playing your two main leads. And they also, the Spanish singer-songwriter, Guitarrica de la Fuente is starring in this. So
damn, you nailed that pronunciation, I think.
Thank you. And I think I did. Glenn Close Duke is in this. So she was unreal last year in Wake Up Dead Man. And yeah, dude, for everything I'm looking at, like, just, you can see this image right here. I think you're going to, in terms of, you're going to get some filthy going on, some good boating.
A little bit of heated rivalry.
Yeah. I think you're going to get your fill into the festival with this movie is what I'm thinking, based on this being the image. So, hey, always room for that, if you know. But yeah, dude, I love the idea of like a Spanish take on this, right? Like, it's a different kind of vibe in 1932.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, the world was like, more like anti-gay in the fucking like 80s. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what does it look like in the fucking
What is it
30s? You know
in
what I
the
mean?
fucking 30s? Yeah, I think that's a fascinating time frame to do something like this. And I like
I
when
still
we
think the best like real raw LGBT story you could tell would be set in like 1863. You know what I mean? Like or something like that. You know what I mean? Where there's
hey, we're getting
so
closer
fucking
here.
taboo, or like fucking 1300s has been like because people
Yeah,
because let me tell you everybody you may not realize this because history didn't talk about it in that way. Gay people definitely existed then. I'm pretty sure.
they
So
weren't just
like
all best friends like people try and say.
yeah,
No, they were
like I
two
think.
great friends. They're really close friends.
Isn't it funny how they used to do that in history? They'd be like, yeah, and
Yeah,
these two dudes that were like the best of boys. They were such good boys. They were so good together. And then everyone's like, everyone knew. They didn't care because they obviously
yeah,
they contributed enough to society that they were like, who fucking cares? Like they literally did that in a couple of episodes of The Tudors, if anyone's seen that show, where like it's obvious that there's some characters that are doing gay shit and everyone's just like, I mean, they're not bothering anybody. You know what I mean? Like, and
yeah.
that's in fucking 1500s. You know what I mean? Like,
We're gonna be going through different decades.
I don't know if that's accurate at the time. Maybe they would have fucking killed them. I don't know, but fuck, like.
And I mean, I think this is a fascinating concept and some more Spanish drama. Again, it's directed by Almodovar, not Hirokazu Koreeda. He doesn't have two movies. I promise you that.
Oh, you
And then the last little one we'll do a preview of here. Well, we have some. We'll talk about the
desert
rest.
movie. We like these usually.
Yep. And this is The Beloved, Rodrigo Sorogoyen. And
A lot of father-daughter movies this year, dude. Are people having relationship problems with their daughters? Is that what's going on?
More Spanish dramas. This one's starring Javier Bardem and his daughter, played by Victoria Luongo. And look, he is just going to be this notorious filmmaker who reunites with his actor daughter. Does that sound familiar? It's a tense family drama. And following a prolonged estrangement, he offers her a part in his latest project, seemingly to help restart her stalled career. But together in the desert, as the cameras roll, they find that their renewed closeness also prompts the reopening of old wounds that never fully heal.
So that's gonna, there was a bit of a stall to the acting career of it wasn't Renata's character, right? She wasn't the actress, I think, I believe, or was she? She might have been. Anyway,
she was still doing the plays. The other daughter quit acting entirely.
Right. So there was technically a stall to one of the acting, but it's not the same vibe. That's the variation that's going to make this feel different as a story to that, because that'll be an aspect that I'm sure that Javier's character will feel responsible for. You know what I mean? Because I'm assuming similarly to Stellan's character, he's going to have taken such a done the director thing and been like such a controlling figure in her life that it almost made her feel like she didn't actually have her own career or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be fascinating to see how that ended up happening. Like maybe she went out of her way to do things that would, that kind of torpedoed her career, but it was so that she could avoid ever having anything to do with what maybe they had to do when she was first getting into it because of being connected to him or whatever, and inevitably being compared. It's like that thing. It's like if you're the daughter of some great filmmaker, or the son, you're gonna have to, like, people are gonna expect certain things of you because of what the expectations are based on what they have already done, right? You know what I mean? So that's gonna be heaped on you, plus whatever expectations they have expectation for you to be because you have interest in being in this and you come from that stock. And it's like, this has a lot. I'm so glad this is the one we're talking about because this sounds really fascinating. Like,
and look, Javier Bardem, I'd love to see him really just have a great year. And to get to express his chops in this, I mean, he's a former Oscar winner, so he's a fucking world class. I'm excited. We have a lot of Spanish dramas, man. Like,
yeah, I really hope we get to see a lot of them.
This
worries me that we're not going to get to see a lot from Cannes this year. That we're going to get to see like the big ones that do well, and that's it. We got to find a way to watch some of these if we can.
Yeah, hopefully it's all about who buys them, right?
Look, last year we saw a lot more movies internationally than we thought we were going to, just straight up on streaming, not even having to like find like sneaky ways to
Neon
watch it.
Buying
stuff,
so many of them, and it's just it
please Neon Searchlight and fucking everyone else save us. A24, buy everything.
A24,
I want to see all the movies, please.
Yeah. So, as we kind of wind down here, I'm gonna briefly read some of these other ones, and just to keep it to where it's kind of like, we have the ability to just show the screen, right? We can. I'll just keep it simple and scroll through the Wikipedia pages real quick of just the very basic stuff. Right? I think that sounds kind of fun. And so because there's a couple more that we still have to do. Up first, we have Another Day, which is a French drama, and this is directed by Jeanne Harry. And we don't have much about it yet, but we do know it's premiering. And she did All Your Faces. Look, this is a big deal, and we'll keep an eye on Another Day. These are the ones. Not all of them are going to have a big background going in, but they can leave you open to shocking, right? So I guess that's the best way to put it. We had The Birthday Party, which is another French drama directed and written.
Going hard this year, bro. Are they pissed because they didn't get their movie in last year? That's crazy.
Yep. And this is directed by Alea Misui. Thomas Nor and their daughter Ida.
Get lost. The fucking Japanese movie might be in.
They live on a remote marshland with limited social contact apart from one neighbor. They plan a surprise birthday party for Nora. Strange disturbances begin to occur. So, sounds like it could be fun,
That'd be crazy. No Japan last year. Japan's in for France and Japan this year. That'd be crazy,
Right? We have Coward, Lucas Dant, directing a war drama film. 1916 World War I, Pierre, played by Emmanuel Macchia, serves at the Belgian front alongside other comrades. Behind the trenches, the soldiers try to keep their spirits up. One day, Pierre meets the flamboyant Francis. To counter the rhetoric of war and the omnipresent misery, the two men decide, with their comrades, to put on a theatrical review. So, I think this could be fun, Duke. Belgian trench warfare. Do you have that on your bingo card?
No, but I mean, fuck it. Why not?
100%. He directed Close, which won the Grand Prix at the 2022 Cannes Film Fest, and he directed Girl, which won the Camera d'Or at the 2018 Film Fest. So keep an eye on Coward. I mean, it's the only war movie right now, so that we've gone through. So, we have a German movie, The Dreamed Adventure. On the border between Bulgaria, Greece, and Turkey, a woman agrees to help an old acquaintance with an illegal mission. You can't ever go wrong with something like that. I mean, come on, let's get down to something illegal.
Yeah, no, that definitely sounds interesting for sure.
So, this is the other drama film. This was the another French drama, Germany and France. Hey, Austria too, starring Léa Seydoux here. She plays Lucy, the gentle monster. A successful pianist moves with her family from Munich to the countryside to support her partner Philip after he suffers burnout. Sacrificing her own career in the process, Elsa, a special investigator, played by Jella Haas, struggles with the responsibility of caring for her father, who suffers from dementia. They face dark truths of the men in their life, directed by Marie Kreutzer. That sounds like a really interesting premise. So,
this is why I say Cannes is where I really start to take things a little bit more seriously, because everything we talk about at this festival has a premise like that. That's incredibly interesting, so.
Yeah, It looks like it might be a hell of a year for Léa Seydoux. I mean, yeah, this is one that's a fucking, that kind of premise could win. It's that good. Hey, guess what? We're going back to France as we go to A Man of His Time, directed by Emmanuel Mare.
The French are on the march this year. No retreats this time.
In 1940, Henry Mare arrives in Vichy with aspirations to publish his manuscript Notre Salute, which he hopes will help
Vichy, France. So we're talking World War II puppet government France. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's almost as interesting as East fucking German fucking puppet government or fucking West German puppet government. You know what I mean? What the fuck?
Yeah. So Emmanuel Mare, this stars Swan Aralud, who, I'm not too familiar with him, I don't think. I did Arco, I guess. Oh, well, that was interesting. Oh, Anatomy of a Fall. He won for Best Supporting Actor at the Caesar Award. Okay. So, a great actor there. And then Emmanuel Mare, who is someone whose most recent movie was Zero Fucks Given. I gotta respect that. I mean, come on, So, yeah, neat. I mean, so what do you have any like thoughts on like is the Vichy regime is this something that could be?
I guess this is why it's so brilliant that you have a fucking guy with a brilliant fucking vat of useless information in my brain. So
That's what we're here for, baby.
So Vichy France was World War II happens, and everyone knows Blitzkrieg hits, France is fallen, right? You know what I mean? We end up having to retake France later down with D-Day and all that, right? So during the intervening period where France was under Nazi occupation, they put back the French monarchy in government and put in Vichy France as a fucking actual government that was supposed to be ruling. And at first, I think people were like kind of like not like against it because they didn't want to be, fucking killed, I guess. I'm assuming for not following orders or stuff like that. But ultimately, it led to a fucking massive resistance movement that ended up being crucial to the D-Day invasion within France. So the potential that you could go into here is unlimited.
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
we can see the formation of the resistance. It could be a peek inside what that fucking puppet government looked like. I mean, it is like the reason why when you said that, I was like, okay, that's why I was like taken aback. I was like, everything we have talked about so far sounds fucking incredible. Like,
yeah, this is the dream. I should have prefaced this. The Oscar brothers, Oscar expert and brother bro, they think this is going to be a fucking loaded fest. And as we're going through this, yeah,
I see why.
So, this one might be.
So I'm so mad that there's like 5 or 6 movies here that we're talking about right now that I'm probably never going to be able to see because they'll never show up anywhere here.
That's the heartbreaking part.
So
right?
Sucks because he sounds so awesome. You know what I mean? Like,
hopefully, it's not the case. This might be a nutty one here. Minotaur. It's a Russian upcoming political thriller drama directed by Andrei Zvyagintsev. And this film is set against the backdrop of a provincial Russian small town in 2022. It follows business executive Gleb, great name, is on the verge of laying off his employees when he discovers his wife is having an affair. So, directed and written by Andre. And, like, dude. First off, getting some Russian films in. Every part of the world.
I'll have to look at this and see. I wonder if it's what year it was. It was 2021 when they invaded Ukraine, right? So,
I think so.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, and this guy's before he's done some movies that, this one also. So he's had movies debut at Cannes before. So, yeah, you know how it is, dude. Once you start getting a few, he won the Golden Lion for Leviathan in 2014, Best Screenplay and Jury Prize at Cannes in 2017. This is the kind of guy. This is going to be most likely your best bet for a Russian film at the Academy Awards. And Russia's going to submit a film, right? Every
my God, dude,
that's eligible does.
It was in the middle of 2022, so that could be a part of the backdrop of this film. Could be the invasion happening. That could be insane, or it could be like again the lead up to it, where maybe you start seeing propaganda on the TV. Mubi doing it again,
Mubi, man. Oh, so Mubi, we're definitely gonna be able to see this.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's sick. Let's go.
Shot in Latvia. So
Latvia.
Yeah, it should be really cool here.
All right, pull up an image of Latvia. I don't even know what Latvia looks like.
So Riga, Latvia.
Oh, look at that's beautiful.
Yeah,
I'd go there. Look at that. Wow. That's a beautiful town.
Wow,
that's pretty.
Okay. I mean, obviously, we're going to probably shoot it in Russia, right? But
of course,
I guess you never know. I don't know what filming laws are like in Russia.
Well, it might just be a little bit difficult right now, with the government.
You never know, all right?
They're a little busy right now,
But so that is Minotaur. Put that on the list. Holy shit. Okay. The French are back. Historical drama war biopic. Okay. By Laszlo Nemes. And this biographical film follows Jean, who is dropped into Nazi-occupied France to help bring the resistance groups together for Charles de Gaulle.
You know what I was just talking about? Charles de Gaulle was one of the fucking leaders of France before the fall and has historically taken credit for the French resistance, which I think he did have a part to do with. I think he was a part of it, but like I think it's been
That's
overstated.
fucking amazing. I love that this is this is awesome. This is why we do this, dude.
I can't believe how much of this shit I actually know stuff about. That's insane. Like
Charles de Gaulle just ignited a fucking bone in your brain.
Oh my god.
He tries to stay hidden, eventually betrayed and handed over to the Gestapo in Lyon, led by the brutal Klaus Barbie. Mullen is tortured again and again, but never gives in. His fortitude inspires resistance and helps spark a renewed fight for freedom in France.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't know French history well enough to say whether the guy was important or not. I was just looking it up. It does look like he did have an important role. So, I mean, this could be a fucking really interesting film if we're from his perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
historical drama, war biopic, Laszlo Nemes, who's this Hungarian filmmaker, it looks like. And, oh, wow, did Orphan in 2025, Sunset in 2020 or 2018. Trying to see if these have been Cannes movies before. Venice 2025 for Orphan. Venice for Sunset. I thought his first one was. Oh, his first one was a Cannes film. Look at me speaking out as soon as I fucking
wow, look at you, non-ball
Cannes,
knower.
11 years later. Good for him.
Yeah, he followed the path. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know,
shot in 35 millimeter French language.
And by the way, for people, I love Cannes. Venice is no
French
joke
language
too.
film.
Being nominated a couple times at Venice in between your Cannes appearances is not a bad thing. It just means that Cannes was already probably loaded and you didn't want to do it.
If you're going to shoot later in the year, that's the one.
Or sometimes I think I would imagine it's like another similar thing. Like, you know, you see Cannes already loaded up. You're like, well, I'm not winning the Palme d'Or, but I can go stand out at Venice and it doesn't even matter what I didn't do at Cannes, you know? So like,
oh, you see this? This is already pre-purchased for other territories by HBO Max.
All right, so we'll be able to see this one. Okay. A lot of French movies.
Studio TF1.
There's going to be a lot of French movies on our letterbox this year, my brother.
That's the best part. All right. We have upcoming Nagi Notes, Japanese, also known as Nagi Diary, by Koji Fukada. Sculptor Yoriko and her former sister-in-law Yuri reunite in the town of Nagi. During their visit, tensions build to a point of confrontation.
Interesting.
Wow. Holy shit. If you can see the video, we just pulled up a picture of Nagi. Oh my god.
Oh, whoa.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay, so they got a good backdrop.
Certainly, yeah. That's a good city. Yeah, or a good like region, whatever. It looks like something shit out of like an anime or something, which makes sense because they're doing Japanese landscapes, obviously. But you know, like holy shit, you know, like
I'm loving the Japanese representation.
Yeah, it's like we had no Japan last year. Now we have all the Japan. I'm totally here for it, you know, like
100%. So
I bet there was good Japanese movies that just got buried last year by like something. Who knows, you know? Like,
and I hope that it that's not the case this year. And the fact that this is already 3 debuting in competition at Cannes is a really good sign. And so, you know, Takako Matsu plays Yoriko. So yeah, this is cool. Looks like former J-pop musical career. So clearly going to be very talented.
Go back to that. He was born into a family of fucking basically like of kabuki actors, which is like that's you know, the way it makes me think it's like a circus type of performance. Like he's like traveling sort of like mummer type performance. That's fucking pretty cool. Like that's the background that he comes from.
Yeah, that's
like Samoa Joe coming from that family of fucking Polynesian dancers and how that like informs the way he's able to move as a fucking like physical being. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
fascinating stuff. Yeah. James Gray has a movie, Paper Tiger, starring Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson, Miles Teller. And so this is that, is this the second United States movie that got added? We were talking about maybe one was going to get added. So I believe this might have been added literally like this week. Yeah. So April 22nd, added to Cannes. So there you go. And Neon buys it. Okay. So Neon bought Paper Tiger, which is going to star, like we just said, those 3. 2 brothers pursue the American dream, but get entangled in a dangerous Russian mafia scheme that terrorizes their family, testing their bond as betrayal becomes possible. Whoa. Okay. So James Gray taking on this, Ad Astra, Lost City of Z. I mean, this guy's made some pretty popular movies over the years. So Did you ever see Ad Astra?
I never did. No.
I didn't mind it. You know me, I'm an easy please for space. But yeah, I didn't mind it. So Paper Tiger, okay, dude. So that's kind of cool. We were literally just discussing the potential of a second.
I love Adam Driver. Him and Scarlett Johansson clearly have some kind of chemistry based on Marriage Story, right? You know, so
yeah,
I mean,
that's true. Good shout there. The reuniting of that.
Mm-hmm. I don't.
Yeah.
What do I know Miles Teller from? Why was it fucking bouncing off my brain right now?
Miles Teller. So Top Gun Maverick, he's been in.
Maybe I know the
Whiplash. Fantastic. The old Reed Richards.
Oh, maybe that's what I know him from then. Potentially.
Yeah. So he kind of bounces all over. He was in Eternity. He was one of the guys in that.
Yeah, I probably just know the name bouncing around from the last couple of years. He does have a recognizable face. Like I saw him and I'm like, yeah, I know this guy kind of.
Oh, Divergent. That's right. So
he's been bouncing around for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then our last one, we have a French movie, A Woman's Life. Charlene Bourgois-Tequet. Gabrielle is a middle-aged, childless surgeon whose life is consumed by her work and responsibilities. When a writer observes her at work for a novel, her life begins to change.
What is it with this fucking concept of fucking writers taking premises from people's actual life? Do I need to do that? Is that what I need to start doing to get my book finished? Is just start writing about how fucking you have no car right now and it fucks up your life? Like, I mean, you have a car now, but how you didn't have a car for like a period of time and how it fucked everything up for you.
Right?
Like, is that how that... Like, I feel like I can come up with more characters than that. Like, what? Like, you know, like, more interesting people, no offense, but, like, I think, like, most people are pretty boring, you know, in their regular lives, you know what I mean? Like, they just do their thing, and it's fine.
Middle-aged, childless surgeon. Okay, so Leah Drucker.
So she's obviously a workaholic who only ever focused on work, and that's going to really play into her psyche about wanting to, maybe she'll be, like, really desperately dating around, trying to find somebody and just fucking everything that walks. Who knows, you know?
Yeah. It gives some interesting looks. So, yeah, guys, that is it for Cannes. Those are all the movies in competition right now. That's awesome. So it's awesome that there is now a second American movie. And we got a bunch of Japanese in there. South Korean. Only the one South Korean, I hope.
That's probably going to change, but then not before the festival. But I mean, like, you know, before the end of the year. But I mean, maybe not. Maybe that's just the one that pops in this year. And Japan is dominating the Asian film awards this year or something like that. I assume maybe that's what happens. Maybe for like their version of the Oscars, it is like already pretty set in stone from pretty early on in the year. So even if you come out with a movie that's like crazy, like it's not going to just go in and dominate the South Korean awards, and then like other stuff will have kind of already been pre-cited for the awards, essentially, if that makes sense. Like, and so like that's why it can feel like, oh, it's only South Korea that's dominating this year. It's not Japan this year, or it's not wherever. You know what I mean? And yeah. Will there ever be a time when like Chinese films are being considered for the Oscars? Like, I don't even know. Are they considered for the Oscars? Right? I don't even know. Like, are they? I assume they are, but do they even get real consideration? What is Chinese cinema like? You know what I mean? Like, I'm so curious now. You know what, Charlie? Let's find a Chinese movie that we can watch somewhere. Fuck it. You know what I mean? See what it's about, you know? Like, see if there's like some like Chinese like epic war drama from like the fucking warring states period or something like that. You know what I mean? Or that's a Japanese thing, but like, you know, the warring, like when there was city states and shit like that were fucking each other up for fucking land. You know, like something like that. We could probably find something. Like, what's the deal with that? Why do I never hear about that stuff talked about? Because people are like, oh, it's fake numbers. It's like, but there has to be movies that are being made there that are good, right? Like, cinema exists, right?
Yeah, we have to think.
Like, I don't know.
So yeah, that's it for Cannes. Basically, like, there's some smaller ones after this in June, like the Tribeca Festival, which, you know, what we usually end up seeing movies from that just generally because it's the fucking lot of horror stuff. But, and then, I mean, honestly, we don't have dates on a lot of them, but TIFF is at the beginning of September. So, yeah.
The fake French awards.
As more dates come out and everything, and, you know, we'll really get it all going there. But, Duke, I mean, I guess just any closing thoughts.
Based on all the stuff we just went through, man, if we can see 10% of these movies, it's going to be... We saw 50 movies last year. We will see 50 movies again this year, and all 50 will be a fucking 10 out of 10s if it's as good as it seems like it's going to be. Like...
Yeah. And we'll be back at the end of May reviewing Cannes, going through those reviews like we did last year and just really kind of breaking down what happened. I can't wait, dude. That was honestly, it's set like, and it's going to be perfect too, because when this is all done, that will probably be that weekend after Isle of Boosters and Mandalorian and Grogu. So like we'll be really finally kicked into full gear with the summer slate. So like it's going to be perfect timing. The vibes are going to be just immaculate for movies right there. Everything's going to really feel in a full swing, and we're going to be talking about how Sebastian Stan is winning the Academy Award this year. You know what I mean? So
all right, hear me out. Bold thing. You wanted me to have one more thing at the end of the show. Bold thing about Fjord. Fjord is going to be a top 10 movie of the year. It's going to be getting nominated for Best Picture. Similar to how it almost didn't work out for fucking Lockjaw, Sean Penn, because of how much people hated that character, right?
Yes.
Could that hold back Sebastian from getting the win for his performance?
Wow. Okay, dude. Hey, I love this. I can't wait, dude.
Apply the same argument to potentially Renata as well. You know what I mean? Like if that's also what's going on with her character.
Depending on who's like the heel there.
Agreed. Or if it's both of them. Like I said, it could be both of them, and then that holds them both back. This is where it gets interesting, you know? Like, God, we're getting better at this, by the way. That just came to me, you know? Like,
yeah, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see this and see how this all plays out. I hope you guys enjoyed this is pretty much, I dare I say, like an in-depth review. I mean, we went over an hour. I feel like a lot of these only go like 10 minutes. So like we talked about every single movie that's in competition. Hey, one day, because of all of your guys' great support,
we will be at festival movie after another.
Yeah. Until next year. We'll be back at the end of the month for the Cannes Film Fest review. We will catch you guys on the flip side, perhaps in 1940s France. Again!